Beverly Hills. You found For Love and Chocolate with Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. Episode number 4 of For Love and Chocolate with us, Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. We've got a fantastic show today. Can't wait to get to it. But before we do, can we just take a minute to say how incredibly grateful we are to our audience for giving us all the love and support that they've given us these first 3 episodes. It's overwhelming.
It has been an amazing response.
Yeah.
We have had such beautiful reviews written and sweet notes sent to us.
Oh, yeah.
And the number of downloads and streaming are so far above what we were expecting.
It's crazy.
What we were told to expect was much less.
And you know what? And it feeds us, you know? I mean, we're doing this kind of in a vacuum, right? It's just us, you, me, Adam, our engineer extraordinaire. And at the end of the day, unless we get that feedback, we're not really sure what's going on. But you know what's happening? What we're creating here, my dear, is podcast magic.
Podcast magic.
I don't even know what it is except to say it's happening, right? Because every time it's like I can't wait to get up in the morning and kind of explore. You know, we find new couples that are always really excited and eager to be on the show. We get to hear their story. And every time we hear another story, it just sparks something else. It sparks a new idea. It sparks another journey. And it makes us think about all the relationships that we've come into contact with. And it's just...
There's just so much love that surrounds us, and it's sort of like we're just tapping it like a little maple tree. And,
yes.
And the love comes pouring out.
Yeah.
And it's been really beautiful.
And there's always a spark. There's always a spark that happens, and it's just fun.
Well, we are truly overwhelmed, and honestly, I just want to say it means a lot to know that romance and humor and the whimsical wisdom of a happy old married couple, well, it's still a thing.
It's resonating. I think it's resonating.
All right.
Oh, baby.
Well, I think you know what time it is.
I think so, too.
It's in the mailbox today.
Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, well, this is from Hannah. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, I'm a 32-year-old woman living in Los Angeles. Recently, I've met someone through friends who I'm really crazy about. We have a lot in common, there's a lot of laughter, and there's definitely a strong attraction. But the problem for me is that he just got out of a serious long-term relationship. I'm really worried that I might just be his rebound. How should I approach this without scaring him off? I really like him, and I'm hoping that this can actually be something. Sincerely, Hopeful in the Marina.
I think that's a legitimate concern.
Completely.
When you meet somebody who just came out of a serious long-term relationship.
Yeah, because that usually comes with a lot of baggage, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it can come with a lot of baggage. It certainly, breakups like that don't happen painlessly.
No.
So this person might, have their guard up a little bit or need a little time.
Also, I think there's you've got to really differentiate between whether they were the breaker-upper or the one broken up with.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
the one that's kind of cut ties is maybe ready for the next adventure. The one who had their heart broken is trying to heal and soothe, and one of the ways is getting back on the horse, but that's not always the right or best move, is it?
What I would say is your best play in this, Hannah, is to just take it really, really slow on the physical part of the relationship. Let him take the lead and don't sleep with him for a while. What I hear from you, Hannah, is that you are 32 years old and you are ready for something real in your life. If you are getting involved with somebody who isn't ready for what you're looking for, then every minute spent with that person is a minute spent with the wrong person.
Yeah.
The wrong guy.
Yeah.
What you need is to keep your dance card free for the right guy. Don't let the wrong guy take up your time, honey.
No, but along with that, it's okay to explore this. It's okay to take it slow. I mean, it sounds like she really likes him. There's a lot of great chemistry. But, to Mrs. Truffle's point, don't sleep with him. Not yet. I mean, it's okay to cuddle.
Take it really, really slow on that. And when it gets to the point where you are ready, when you feel that he's ready for that, make sure that he's ready for monogamy. Mm-hmm. And if he isn't, then he's not the right guy for you in this point in your life. You're not just looking for people to sleep with. You're looking for someone to share your life with.
It's not to say that they can't have fun, right?
Yeah, no, it absolutely is to say they can't just have fun.
That's not what I mean. I'm saying they can play a little kissy face. They can do a little spank and tickle, right?
Okay, don't say spank and tickle.
Okay, sorry.
Children are listening. No, I think it's fine for her to go out on dates. But don't try to put yourself in his way or let your friends orchestrate meetups. Give him the space and let him take the lead.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, until he says it's exclusive, you need to still keep yourself available for the right guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in your 30s now, girl. The clock's ticking.
It's no joke. Right?
Yeah. Don't let anybody waste your time.
Yeah, although I think we disagree on the spank and tickle. We'll see.
We'll see.
You're going to wear the pants in this podcast relationship, aren't you?
Well, you'd look silly in a skirt, Mr. Truffles.
That's true.
Maybe a kilt, a nice Scottish kilt.
Let me see what I can do. All right, Hannah, thank you for writing in. And, of course, that's for anyone that writes into us with a question or relationship advice they're looking for. If we use your question on our podcast, we will send you a beautiful chocolate gift. Isn't that right, Mrs. Truffles?
Oh, yeah.
What else you got?
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, I went on a date last night with a man who asked me to pay for half of our dinner. He had a far more expensive meal than I did and ran up quite a bar tab. I feel a little ripped off. How do I let him know for future dates this does not feel right for me? Well, this is from Samantha.
Can I take this one?
By all means.
Okay, Samantha, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take your right hand and hold up your face. And now fold your pinky and your ring finger, and then fold your pointer finger and your thumb. That's how you handle that.
Yeah, I would say, honey, there shouldn't be any future dates.
Oh, my God.
This might just be this guy's thing.
Yeah, listen, we're going to split this. Of course, he ordered the, what, the 1942? Like, just send the bottle. Meanwhile, you're drinking Perrier with a slice of lemon. I don't like him at all. Sorry.
Yeah, honey, no more dates with this guy.
No.
He's bad.
Yeah. On a positive note, we will be sending you a chocolate gift.
Well, those were some fun questions, Mr. Truffles.
They really were.
I really hope that we help some people who are looking for love.
I'd like to think so.
So let's talk a little bit about our guests who are coming on today.
Ben Bode and Bellina Logan, some of my oldest friends in the world. We've known each other for 30 years. Ben has been working since the mid-90s nonstop in television film. And most recently, he did shoot an episode of television that I cannot talk about.
Top secret.
He signed a non-disclosure, sweetie. It's a big deal.
Top secret.
Top secret. Bellina is en fuego, sweetheart. She just finished shooting this new Apple TV show called Palm Royale. It's got Laura Dern. It's got Carol Burnett. It's just filled with megastars. That's so fun. And even more exciting, she does a one-woman show called Confessions of a Mulatto Love Child. She's doing it again at the United Solo Theater Festival in New York in April.
That show was so fantastic. Very excited to have Ben and Bellina here today.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they are an amazing romantic couple.
And you're about to hear their story.
We'll be right back.
For over 40 years, Toysher has been a staple in the Beverly Hills community. Like so many other families in the community, our family has had a long-standing love affair with Toysher chocolates. Over the years, we've formed traditions and memories around these extraordinary Swiss chocolates and the enchanting wonderland of fantasy truffle boxes inside our store. Today, our family is proud to be carrying on the Toysher tradition in Beverly Hills. Well, welcome back. Do you know why the smile is so big on my face?
Why is the smile so big on your face?
Because we're sitting in front of Ben Bode and Bellina Logan.
Oh, sweet.
We go back so far that I was actually best man in Ben's wedding. It was Bellina's wedding. Ben was just a guest. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, they're here.
I'm so glad you guys are here.
It's so nice to be here.
So excited
Yeah.
to be really
Thank you so
wonderful to
much
have
for-
you.
What we want to talk about is the love story that brought you guys together.
Why don't you start, sweetheart?
Okay.
So I'm going.
We were both at Juilliard. He was 2 grades ahead of me.
We were in the drama department.
Yes. And we would cross each other and see each other in the hallway. But that was it. We never conversed at school.
No.
Ever.
I do remember seeing him in the hallway. This kid who was all nose and a mullet and his jeans tucked into his cowboy boots. And I remember as a New Yorker just thinking...
I'd come from San Antonio,
I
Texas.
know, but
this
it was
a
just,
good look.
It was, yes.
Yes.
If we want to say
It
that.
got your attention.
It did. I just remember thinking...
No.
I don't remember, like, we never talked to each other, but I just remember thinking, oh, isn't that sweet? I hope that before he graduates, he untucks the jeans.
We didn't really know each other at Juilliard, but we did know of each other.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 10 years later.
10 years later, we were out in L.A., and we were actually another mutual friend that you know, Matt Servito.
Yeah.
We were going out to a lot of restaurants and eating and having fun, and we saw Ben's name on... We both were all in the same agency, and those were the days when you had to go and pick up your audition in an envelope at your agency, and I saw Ben Bode. We were like, let's invite Ben Bode out to have drinks.
It was a place called Mexican Village.
Mexican Village.
Right? It's still there.
It's near Vermont. And I remember watching Ben walk in thinking, oh, Ben Bode's grown up.
You know here's what's crazy, is that Ben and I, who were best friends, I mean, we spent all of our free time together as up-and-coming actors. I remember him talking about you after that meeting, I promise you. Because I remember Mexican Village.
Yeah.
And I remember him coming away from that talking really beautifully about you. Yeah.
What happened was we struck up a conversation there. She was wearing a really pretty floral dress, a sleeveless floral dress. And
You get very good points for remembering that. I love that.
she happened to mention that she had the ER rap party the next night. And she didn't have a date.
Oh,
I got nobody to go with. And I was like, I'll go. We went out for dinner, and then we went to the Derby, which is where the rap party was, and danced. Then I took her home. By all definition, that's a date. I took you. I dropped you off.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that's a date.
That's a date. Yeah.
Yes. After all these years, I will maybe just sort of acquiesce. It was a date, but I didn't think it was a date. If I thought it was a date, I don't know if we'd still be sitting here, because I would have been too nervous. It would have been, I just thought him as a friend who was so sweet to take me to this party. I thought our first date was weeks later, when we went to that place that you actually recommended, Tommy.
Which one?
The French restaurant. Remember, all I know is that he was desperate to figure out a good place, and you knew this place.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. He was wearing a sweater vest. I also remember that. See,
Benny was wearing a sweater vest?
He was wearing a sweater vest. Yeah, it was.
Was it tucked into his boots?
It was not.
Slightly,
Okay, that's
slightly tucked into his boots.
So
Anyway,
that was your version of the first date.
because
And then while I was taking her home to drop her off, she said, "Oh, I've got to go to the airport tomorrow." And I was like, I can do that.
That's a big ask, though.
Yeah. So I took her to LAX.
Right.
I'll take you.
Well, that's romantic.
What happened was I took her to the airport, and then about a week later, I got a postcard.
Okay.
I mean, just a packed postcard of just all this stuff, mostly just saying thank you so much. And it ended with, this is, of course, from Bellina, it ended with, I deeply appreciate it, with it underlined, deeply in dark letters. And I'm like, I am in like Flynn. This chick digs me. I'm good to go.
I agree. If it's a postcard loaded, and I deeply appreciate, there's only one thing to take away. She digs me.
Yeah. Next time that I spoke to her, which was months later.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he got a job. I went back to New York because I was going back and forth between New York and L.A. I came back to L.A. to work on some episodes of ER. So I left a message on his machine because he was shooting a movie. You were in Hawaii.
Yep.
Oh.
So then he came back and he called me and
Invited you out for a drink.
at Barney's Beanery.
Yep.
So I just assumed that I would meet him there. And I said, I'll meet you there. And he said, no, I'll come and pick you up. And I remember that. And I was like,
That's
yes,
a date.
That's a date.
Yeah.
A, and B, I was like, oh, he'll pick me up. Like I think I even fought him on it. I was like, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I asked you for a drink, and I'm going to come and pick you up.
Yeah,
and I
Benny.
loved every second of that.
That's so good.
I did. And then he came to pick me up, and we went to Barney's Beanery, and then we just sat and we talked and talked and talked, and also drank a tremendous amount of Jägermeister for my first time, and I do need to say my first and last time. No, we just sat, and I just remember thinking everything that we started talking about to each other. We just rehashed stories from school and audition nightmare stories, and I don't know, we talked about everything. We talked
Kissed in the parking lot.
And then we kissed in the parking lot.
Oh, got to hear about that.
No, we got to hear about that. Let's hear about the first kiss. So you guys spent all evening talking.
Yeah.
Jaeger bombs.
Yes,
Jaeger
Jaeger
bombs.
bombs,
You're both
beer,
a little tipsy.
Little tipsy. The car got brought to, the valet guy brought the car. I remember getting in, and we were sitting in there, and you went, "Give me a kiss." And it was a long kiss. I remember it was a long kiss because I remember thinking the parking attendant really needs us to get out of here. So,
that's
and then we
good.
kind of drove back. We drove back to where I was staying, and I said goodnight. Got out and said goodnight. And what was it that you said? It was so sweet. You said when you were driving home, I don't know, you said this to me the next time we went out. You just said that you were driving home and you were thinking, Bellina, 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 Bellina. And that made me...
I want to know, Bellina, what you said to Laura, your friend, coming out of that date.
So Laura was waiting breathlessly, and she wanted to hear everything, and she said, "How was it?" And I just was like, "It was very good." And she's like, "Did you guys kiss?"
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, "Yes." And I told her every single detail. And I just remember I was really giddy, and she knew it. Guys, when you're looking into the eyes of your friend and you can tell that they're...
Yeah, kind of gone.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
And then we had another date.
Oh, and how was that date?
Yeah, I didn't come home.
And there we have it.
There we have it.
Wow, all right.
Yep.
You're a
and
closer.
together ever since.
You are a closer, man.
I came over, this was about 3 weeks in at the most, maybe
Yeah.
a month
Maybe a month.
of dating, and she didn't feel well. She was sick.
I also didn't look good.
Well, I didn't know that, but
Well, that's
you
why I
look
love it.
fabulous to me.
Well, that's fair. Because I really didn't want to answer the door because I had not taken I was that sick where you haven't showered and you're like in the pajamas and the socks and
Be honest, it sounds hot to me, but keep
doesn't
going.
it? Anyway,
It's kind of hot. She was in her jammies. And she had a horrible sore throat. So I went and bought popsicles, a Snoopy at Rite Aid without any solicitation or anything. I just brought it over. Both she and Laura were dumbfounded by this. And that got a big reaction, which was just surprising to me because that's how Bodes roll. You're sick, we come help.
Yeah.
but he didn't. But Laura was like, "Really wants to see you." Like she was shocked.
Yeah.
And I think I just sort of put my hair, like I did something with my hair. I mean, it was one of those moments where like it didn't matter what I was going to do. Nothing was going to help the situation. I just looked awful. He came up and he couldn't have been sweeter. And the first thing he did was he didn't want to get sick, but he gave me a hug, and I just thought like, "Oh, he's so nice. Can't believe you. I feel awful." He said, "You're beautiful. You're just sick." It was a very sweet thing. When he left, Laura was in tears. She was like, "Jesus, I can't. Don't lose him.
Aw.
He's a sweetie." But I also remember how hard you worked on Valentine's Day, and you went.
Oh, the first Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
I bought champagne truffles.
You did not.
I swear to God.
From Beverly Hills Toy Shirt?
Yep.
What?
That was the
That's-
first Valentine's.
Which was what year?
And I had to stand in
And who
line.
told you to do that?
It had to be Tommy Gallo.
Yeah, it was Tommy.
I couldn't have known about the place. I didn't know anything about Beverly Hills.
What year was that?
Gosh,
90.
This,
It was 98.
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, because I didn't know Beverly Hills. You knew Beverly Hills. I
That's
didn't know it.
nuts.
And
That was your first Valentine's together.
Yep.
yeah, and it
Lovely
was
little box of
you
champagne
brought
truffles.
them, and they were so pretty, and I remember that too. I remember because it had a red bow, and it said Toy Shirt, and he had to tell me about it.
I remember him coming back telling me the reaction and me saying, one day, I'm going to buy that place. I was just,
See my destiny.
here it is.
There it is.
When did you first know that you were in love? When did you really know that you had found the one?
Do you know?
We went on a skiing trip with his family. I was going to be meeting his family for the first time. They were going on this big skiing trip to Steamboat Springs, and I was coming from New York to meet them there. And I was also going to be doing something that I hadn't done before, which was ski. And I was a little nervous about the whole thing. Cutting it to the chase, I remember going down one of the hills, and I remember his family were very attentive to me, and they were kind of on top of me in a most protective and loving way. But I just was freaked out on the slopes because I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember Ben was so anxious about it, and he kept turning around to his family saying, "Just leave her alone. Just let her be." He just yelled at all of them to give me space. I wasn't asking for it, But what I remember thinking while I was sitting with my ass in the snow because I'd fallen, I just remember thinking I felt so protected by him. I felt like he cares so much. I've never seen him act like that, and I can't believe he's acting like that for me. He must really care about me, and I think I really care about him. And I remember I thought, like, yeah, I think I'm falling in love with him.
Oh, my God. That's so sweet. So, by the way, we've talked about this before. We have a cry meter, a Tara cry meter. And if you make her break, right, we talk about it being pure love. If you make me break, it's a problem. I think we might have to cut the commercials. What about you, Benny?
When did you first know, Ben?
You know, I had not really thought about this until you brought it up. Reflecting on it, I think it was in the parking lot of 7-Eleven. Yep.
Please.
I had
make it any other place.
No, it was 7-Eleven, baby.
That's where you knew you were in love?
Yeah, there was this, because...
What was happening in the
You're
parking
upsetting
lot?
your wife. No, I'm kidding.
What was happening? Were we there together?
When you figure that out, when it kind of hits you,
Yeah.
it's a very kind of...
So explain the process to us. Why were you in the 7-Eleven parking lot?
I was in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven.
Okay.
I was going to pick up something at 7-Eleven.
Okay.
Like a Slurpee
And I
or
was
some
just sitting in the parking
nachos.
lot and just... No. Yeah, let's say a Slurpee.
Okay.
Let's say that I was there for a Slurpee.
Okay.
But I remember sitting in the car and just kind of reflecting on Bellina. We'd been dating for, I don't know, maybe a month and a half.
Oh.
2 months. I was just reflecting on how she was different from anybody else I dated. How she really seemed genuinely concerned about me. And it was one of the first times I'd ever been in a relationship where I felt equally important. And she was really so remarkably sweet and cared about me and thought about me in ways that nobody else had had. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I might love this gal.
That's very sweet.
It was in the parking lot of 7-Eleven.
Some sweet thoughts in between slurps of your
Yeah,
screen.
exactly. But when you figure that out, that's a very personal thing. You're generally on your own,
right.
and you're just kind of reflecting, and it can happen anywhere.
No, it's usually at a convenience store. I think.
We could change it to a library.
No, that's the truth will set you free. Okay, so here's the question. You were in the snow on your ass?
Yeah,
That was your
I
moment?
was in the snow on my
You
ass.
were doing some kind of deal in the parking lot of
There was no
7-Eleven?
deal happening.
Right, you were buying menthol cigarettes, whatever you were doing. You were doing something that you should have been. Okay.
But I reflected on the gal in my life.
I have that effect on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you both independently of each other have come to this understanding that you now love the other person, kind of cross the cat,
You do, and it felt good. It was really lovely. It was very freeing. I'm just like, he's my guy.
Oh.
You remember how I told you, right?
Well, I remember that you, first you said it to me in a song.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Little Jim Croce was playing, but he was singing it to me.
It's a song.
I love that.
I have to tell you, I love you in the song. You know that song?
Yes.
Yes. I had said I love you to many people. I've only asked one person to marry me.
I want to know about the proposal.
Y2K. Literally Y2K.
Come on.
So how did you guys become engaged?
We were in New York on Y2K.
We got completely plastered with my mother, who was alive at the time. I am very English mother, and we went to a restaurant, and it was New Year's Eve, York Grill on
And it was right around the
89th
corner.
in York.
And Avril was beloved
My
there,
mom.
And we just drank copious amounts of champagne.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve?
Okay. Yeah.
And Ben was walking back to the house. My mom had a brownstone on 89th, and I remember walking behind my mother and Ben, and they were both swerving. And we got inside the house, and my mom went upstairs, and Ben and I were being very, very sweet with each other, and we were getting a little intimate, and we were being very funny with each other and very sweet. And at some point, I said something. I said something about marriage. I didn't, I just said something about marriage, and he said, "Well, will you marry me?" And I said, "Do not ask me that while we are so 3 sheets to the wind." And then when we woke up the next morning, he was like, "Gosh, did anything happen last night?"
Yeah, I woke up like, wow, we drank a lot. I can't remember a thing.
you are-
What happened last night?
I looked at him and he said, "I'm just joking." And then he very, very, very tenderly and very, very sweetly said, "Bellina Logan, will you marry me?"
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I was overjoyed, and I said, yes, yes, yes. And then I ran upstairs and I told my mother, and she said, oh my God, well, we're going to have the wedding at the Church of England. And I was like, Mommy, we've never gone to church for more than twice. It doesn't matter. I have a very good relationship with Christ.
So cute.
Yeah.
And how long between the engagement, the proposal, and the wedding?
Year and a half.
So Ben and I really did want to have a long engagement. We wanted to enjoy being engaged. We did. I remember that. When Tommy, you have so many things to do with our life. It was Tommy that helped you find my engagement ring.
Yeah.
That's right.
You remember where you went?
I do. No, it was the antiquarium.
Oh my God, it was
The place-
Zach.
It was, yeah.
My buddy Zach.
Yes.
Zach Wagner. That's crazy, yeah, because he has beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy basically made everything happen.
Well, he was the best man
He was the best
in
man.
every particular way that you could break that down.
Yes.
That was a fun wedding. Well, let's talk
It was a
about
good wedding.
Let's
It was
talk
a
about the
good-
wedding.
It was a good wedding.
Let's talk about that a little bit. It was,
Yeah, what was the wedding like? Where did you end up having it?
We knew we were, once we figured out when we were going to get married, which would be in May, and we were going to get married in Los Angeles. I at the time, it just seemed like the right place. We also needed to be able to afford it and also have a nice honeymoon. So we kind of looked around at a lot of places.
Yes, honey.
We found a beautiful restaurant actually called Il Cielo.
Yeah, we know Il Cielo. Yeah.
In Beverly Hills. And lots of beautiful places, but this place just felt right. They had this beautiful courtyard. They do a whole thing for weddings, and they have like a see-through canopy and sparkly lights. And then when you're done, you can go and have a nice night at the Four Seasons.
Which is right across the street.
Which is right across the street.
Right.
Like they have a whole little procession. It was a
Festive.
great wedding. I mean,
so fun.
it was just a really magical night, but I think the thing that I remember the most that made me feel so connected to you was planning our music that we would have the DJ play. We sat in our apartment for like a whole week just listening to great songs from the 70s and the 80s.
It was tremendous fun.
But
We also went to dance class.
Yes,
because
we
we were
did.
going to try to figure out, because you had that first dance. We'll do the dance to
You Light Up My
You
Life.
Light Up My Life. And we'll just dance, and then we'll just have everybody sing. And
Well, we didn't know everybody was going to sing. That was what was so magical about the
Yeah.
wedding. We got out and did our first dance, and first of all, everybody started laughing because it is a great song.
It's schmaltzy,
but it's totally
so fun.
schmaltzy,
Yeah.
and nobody had heard it in forever.
30 years,
and
yeah.
suddenly we danced around the whole courtyard, and everybody, all different walks of life from our wedding, sang that song from beginning to end.
Oh my God!
And I do
love
have to
that.
say that was one of the most. I just knew, and
That's
I
like
was
and that's like a rom-com thing.
it was totally a
Oh,
rom
it
com.
was, yeah.
It just was. I not to be schmaltzy, but I was so in love.
That's so good.
and you're
I feel like so there was the after party at the Four Seasons,
Yep.
which was so fun.
Yeah.
And we were already just hammered.
Oh.
But we kept going. And I feel like there were a couple of us. I feel like John Michael Higgins.
Yep.
And myself.
Yep.
And maybe two other guys serenaded you.
yes, right.
Do you remember that?
Tape. We have
It's-
it on DVD
Yeah,
or whatever.
you, Mandy,
John
Maggie.
Michael Higgins
Yeah.
used to have a big a cappella group, and you.
You were part of it.
Yes.
Yes,
The
okay.
Five Johnsons. Yes.
Then that's what you did.
Yes.
You
And then
serenaded
you
us
serenaded
outside
us-
on
Wait a minute, and I
Burton
know
Way.
that.
Do you remember what it was?
House is not a home.
That's what we sang to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have it on.
Can you sing it now?
We're so romantic. Not without my Johnsons, baby. This solo Johnson is not singing that
It's
song.
great, and you guys really got it right. And that was a surprise for us. It was.
Yeah, we've got it on film.
We have it.
Have
on
you never
film.
seen our?
People like to watch other people's weddings.
If they're in it,
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
they do.
Yeah, you're
He
so
wants
in
to
it.
put it in his
Your
sizzle
English
reel.
relatives
Yeah.
used to watch it all the
That's
time.
true. My English relatives would like. My cousin Margaret would be like, I love watching the Bellina and Ben wedding video. It's marvelous. And because also,
It ends with your song, singing out
Yeah.
on the street. It's,
With John. Oh, that's
Yeah.
wait, outside of Il Cielo?
yeah.
Now well, we're waiting for the valet.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
it was
that.
great.
We'd surrounded you guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Creating
perfect.
This, yeah.
They were surrounded by Johnsons.
We're surrounded
Yes.
by John.
That was the honeymoon. Oh,
Hey, ding, da,
what
dong.
about the honeymoon?
The honeymoon was fabulous. The honeymoon was Italy.
Yeah, Italy and Ibiza.
Where did
right.
you go
Okay.
in Italy?
We started in Venice. In Venice, we spent a handful of days, and then we went to Florence, and we had a particularly memorable first evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we got
So
to
great.
Florence, we had our room, and it was a corner room, huge ceilings, gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous.
Fabulous. I was so excited.
While I'm opening the spumante, Bellina starts just going through the hotel in the room, inexplicably opening all the drawers.
Oh my God, this story.
It goes by, and then there's the two things beside the bed, and she's opening those, and she gets to the second one, she opens it, and she basically screams, slams the door, and says, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And I'm like, "Sweet Mother of God." And so I go over and I open the door, and there is it's a little, what is it?
It's
bedside
a bedside
table.
bedside table.
And I open it up, and on the shelf is a small bong and a block of hashish.
Nice.
And she says, "What is that? What is this?" And I say, "This is the best hotel in the world."
I'll say.
Everybody thinks that it was the best hotel.
Yes, but I did put it in a bag and brought it to the front desk. And
That's how much he loves me.
And that was that.
Yeah. He loves me so much. He
does
likes to
love
tell
you.
that story.
What was the
On the
what was the
honeymoon?
highlight of your honeymoon in
Florence
Italy?
really was the highlight of the honeymoon.
Actually, I think in Florence, we went to a little place outside of Florence called Sinalunga, and it was this
Oh, that was
beautiful,
beautiful.
like, castle hotel, and nobody was really swimming in the pool, and so nobody was really walking out in the gardens. And I just remember Ben and I would sit out on the lawn chairs, and it was just nice to just sit with this lovely man who was my husband now, and we would look out at the beautiful. Those gorgeous trees. Just remember, everywhere we went to eat, everything tasted extra special. And
Somehow when
it was
you're in
beautiful.
love and married, everything just tastes extra special.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you guys say that you keep your romance fresh and alive, and after all these years you're still madly in love? What's your little secret? What keeps you so close?
It just gets better as you go along.
There is nothing better than sitting with this man and knowing that I can say something and that he can get it and we can both laugh. We make each other laugh. Look at each other and go, "That was crazy."
What do you guys do to keep it kind of fresh?
We live near a park and we take walks together. And
Then there's generally a nice little cuddle. in
the
morning.
cuddling. We like to do a lot of cuddling.
But it's really about communication.
Which is a beautiful segue into what we want to do now, I think.
I would say that's a beautiful segue. So we have a segment of the show, which is a gift bag.
I love this bag.
Large toy shirt bag, which
Look
is
at
very
this.
heavy and filled with.
I didn't know that gifts would be involved.
Yes, this is the For Love and Chocolate swag bag.
Pain. So romantic weekend in a bag for you.
Oh, how awesome.
Oh, this is exactly what I
So
want.
there's some very fancy French champagne there.
Lovely.
Very nice. Very
Get in there, Benny. Go on.
All right,
you
so
pull out
what's
the next?
Sure.
I love it's Laurent Perrier. Oh, I'm very, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love the whole presentation.
So pretty, right?
I might share it with you.
Benny, go ahead. You
And
can open that.
this,
This is the first time that I'm switching it up a little
Oh,
bit, the
okay.
candles.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
just like your love is pure, beeswax is pure. And this is the most romantic beeswax candle I've ever seen. And it's
oh my God, that's beautiful.
Oh my God, it's roses.
Yeah, pure beeswax.
pure beeswax, rose
Beeswax.
candle. So that's...
But look at the art. Look at
Isn't
the
that gorgeous?
intricacy.
A lot of people don't realize that Toy Share sells cookies, but in fact, one whole floor of the factory in Switzerland is a bakery. And that is our assortment of all the amazing cookies. And those cookies
look
are
spectacular.
Actually,
You're gonna love those.
spectacular.
Like, you know what?
Yeah.
These are
Oh
Each
my
one,
God.
they're
I am
all
so
wonderful
excited by
with tea,
these.
You know, it's
coffee.
possible that after
Yeah.
you drink the champagne, you might just finish those cookies.
Go ahead and open that one.
Okay.
That's for Bellina to open.
Yeah,
This
That's
is from my
really
friend Christopher St. James. He and his wife Leslie own Lux Lingerie
Yes.
on North Camden Drive, just 3 doors south of Beverly Hills Toy Shirt.
They're our friends and neighbors, and their shop is gorgeous.
Ooh, this is lovely.
And this is a very special lip balm that is. It's called a French arousal lip gloss.
Yeah, be careful.
And I got to tell you, he gave me some to try, and I have never quite enjoyed putting on lip gloss more.
Oh, Bellina's getting in there.
Get in there,
She's like,
girl.
forget about it.
And it smells.
Yeah, it just makes your lips all tingly and kind of send some shivers down your spine.
I'm liking this.
Oh, my.
Yes. So you have
I love it. But you know what? It's got a nice little kind of tiny little taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The taste of it.
This is
That's
beautiful.
to set you up for some good kissing on your luxury weekend bag.
Very much kissing you with this.
I'm looking forward to
And look
Thank
what
you.
Ben has.
I'm very excited about.
That's fun. Ben just pulled out the...
champagne truffles.
That's right. Made with
Yes.
both
We've
very
come
young.
full circle, sweetheart.
That's
You've
right.
come full circle.
Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
guys.
Yes.
God, man,
A little something else in there for you.
I'm very.
Oh, my God. This
fussies.
is... Oh, guys.
So this is the body butter that I make. It's our Love and Chocolate Body Butter, and that is going to be available soon online. And it is mostly cocoa butter, so it really is chocolate. It's our Love and Chocolate Body Butter,
food
and,
grade,
and it's
and it's
just the most
spectacular.
amazing things for your skin. All
Oh, yeah.
natural food grade ingredients.
You got...
Oh,
Look out. Just put a little bit
are
on your...
you kidding me?
Put a little bit on your hand.
This.
Or your
Did you
face.
make?
I
She
make this.
makes-
I've been making it for years. I
Yeah.
just
Really?
make it for
Oh,
us,
yeah.
but I'm going to start making
You.
it
It's
for
fantastic.
Love and Chocolate.
But it's so smooth. The scent. There's just the faintest scent of chocolate, and I love that it's faint because what it is it's just enough. Oh my God, I love it.
To awake the senses.
Yeah,
right?
it's just that like chocolate.
Nothing artificial
There's
in there. It's
nothing.
all
This
pure.
is like when my lip gloss
And your body
this,
butter.
I
and your
will share this with
champagne.
you.
This is going to be a romantic
No, you
weekend
can just
ahead.
slather your body with it, and it can generally be my chocolate.
And we'll see what happens. Oh, hello. Hello.
Yes, all right, darling. Just don't say that in a parking lot of 7-Eleven, and we'll be all right.
Before we let you guys go, can you guys just give some kind of advice to newlyweds or people looking for love? Like, what is your very best little piece of advice that you would give?
Well, to those that are getting married, the honeymoon actually serves a purpose. And we discovered that because building up to a wedding and requires a lot of attention, requires a lot of work. And the honeymoon is this thing where you actually then get to come back together and just
Right.
be the two of you.
And look into each other's eyes and be reminded about the things that you really, like about each other. And just take a second, take a minute, just take a minute to be with each other. Just really, I remember the best piece of advice that somebody gave to me on my wedding day was, it's a big day, but remember during your vows at some point to look into that person's eyes for just a second and take a breath. And I think I try to do that now with Ben. I look into his eyes to take a breath.
That's excellent advice.
So that's it.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for I'm very excited to have our goodies. I'm really the
Good.
lip gloss, the butter, the cookies. I mean, this is amazing. So thank you for that.
Of course, of
And
course.
we're so glad you guys came over. It's beautiful to see you, but also just to kind of hear your story and your journey and to relive some of the moments we had together 23 years ago. How long
And
ago?
I didn't know any of this.
I know, but I'm also just happy to be with you guys. It's really lovely to, sit across from two people who I can feel that, and I feel that love. You guys love it. You guys
There's a little
love
bit
each
of- There's a
other.
little
There's
bit
a
of...
little bit of a
little
thing going
sizzle.
on here. Yeah.
There's some sizzle. I see the sizzle.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again, and we'll be right back with a
We'll
little
be
bit.
right back.
This podcast is being brought to you by Beverly Hills Toy Shirt, Chocolates of Switzerland. Beverly Hills Toy Shirt at 371 North Camden Drive in Beverly Hills has been serving up truffles, pralines, dipped fruits, marzipans, and our world-famous chocolate bars for over 40 years. So, next time you're in Beverly Hills, why don't you come by and visit or shop online at BeverlyHillsToyShirt.com.
All right, wasn't that wonderful,
That
Mr.
was
Truffles?
so
They were
much
so
fun,
sweet
baby.
and so romantic.
I love them so
I
much.
teared up a few times.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that was really cute. And who knew that 7-Eleven parking lot could be so meaningful?
It's so romantic. Okay, gang. Well, that's all we have today for you. But tune in next week where we're going to bring back another wonderful couple and their beautiful romantic journey. So, say goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
Goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
This show is brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland, home of the world's first and finest champagne truffles. Join us next week for more adventures in everlasting love.